Okay, so now moving on to your source-based case study, source-based questions. Okay, first out question, basic inference. This one very simple. I think you've done it many times. Now, a special thing is that you may see cartoons. So when you see cartoons, please remember to write down in your description or your evidence who are the characters, what are their expressions, what is the actions, any exaggerations you see, any text that you see, and what all these things symbolize that give you your main inference. Alright, so give example, you have this sauce produced during the British rule after Japanese occupation. Right, this is after Japanese occupation when the British came back. Right, so you see this picture here. This guy, this man here, he has an expression looking very annoyed, looking very stressed, right? So stressed and annoyed. And who does he represent? He represents the Singapore public. Okay, and then you see what is he dreaming of? He's dreaming of sheep. And under it, what are the sheep doing? What are they doing? They're going around in circles. They're going around in circles, and you see all these things are the different problems that the locals are facing. So in effect, this guy representing the Singapore public is actually dreaming, he's feeling stressed, and he's dreaming about the different problems inside Singapore itself that were not solved by the British, correct? So so what is my main inference, right? When I talk about main inference, you cannot give me specific things. You have to look at the main inquiry question, right? Look at the main inquiry. The main inquiry is the first question you will see that guides the whole source-based case study. Link your main inference to the main inquiry, please. If it's about the British, if it's the British as the main character, make sure your inference is about the main character, right? So what is the inference here? Short and sweet, the British have failed the locals, right? The British has failed the locals or not provided enough, right? Not provided for the basic needs for the locals, right? They have not been an effective government providing for the locals. How do you know this? Because when I look at the picture itself, I see things like someone who is sleeping, worried, labeled Singapore, right? Then when I explain, I can say this. This implies that they have many problems. The Singapore public have many problems, many unmet needs. Okay. Description, you say the picture, they're dreaming of sheep, they're going in circles, each sheep is labeled with different problems, right? So what does this mean? This means that the Singapore public going through a cycle of unending problems, and all these things they keep continuing to happen because the British are not addressing them well. That is why they keep on dreaming of these sheep going around in circles, right? Because the British are not addressing the problems faced by the locals well. And lastly, you see a text, right, that says the insomnia prescription doesn't work, right? The text here, insomnia prescription doesn't work. What does this mean? What does this symbolize? The prescription actually symbolizes the efforts by the British, and the fact that it doesn't work means that the British are not doing enough to solve the problems of the locals. And therefore, this leads to my main inference, which is the British failed the locals because they didn't provide enough for them. Right? So that is how you do proper analyzing the picture, looking at all the things you see there, analyzing all the symbols, all the pictures, all the people, all the expressions, all the actions, and what do they mean, and how does this link to your main inference. All right, so from there, then you have your main inference. Now let me go through some of the common errors that I may see in the paper, but I hope that I won't see. So number one, not answering the question. If the question is, what can you infer about the British source, British rule? So answer to the question, answer about British rule, right? If you tell me the source tells me that that the locals are something. They are not talking me. You're not inferring directly about British rule is wrong. Okay, you'll get 1 mark. So please write to the question. The source tells me British rule. Then your inference here was a failure. Right. Next, wrong words. So for evidence, you say says or shows. For explanation, you say means or implies. Okay, this is quite straightforward. Number 3, vague inferences. Please don't give me the source tells me the British rule was bad. I don't want to see bad and good. Any bad, good, horrible, or any words related to degree that doesn't specifically tell me in what way is it bad. So you have to tell me in what way is it bad. That will give you a very specific inference, right? British rule was a failure. Yes, so it's bad because it failed. So this is a more direct inference, and this is what I want you to write. Next, messages are lifted. If the evidence you see many people were jobless under British rule, and you tell me that many people were jobless under British rule as your inference, again, it's called lifting, you'll get 1 mark. So do not lift, alright? Cannot emphasize this enough. Do not lift as your inference from the evidence. Look at the source and check the words. Make sure you don't repeat any word that is already in the source as your inference, alright? So next, messages are not about the bigger issue. Again, if the issue is were the British supported by people, and your inference, you tell me the local people were starving, right? No main character here. Main character should be the British, but it's not listed in your inference. This is called sub-inference. Maximum mark you'll get is number 2. So, alright. So please tell me. Look at the correct answer. Tells me that people resisted against the British. Now main character is here. I'm talking about the main topic, which is British support. So this is okay. Okay, so please don't give me messages that are not about the bigger issue. And number 6, evidence must match. All right. If your inference is that people resisted against the British, if your inference is British rule was beneficial to the people, right? Example, this is your inference. British rule are beneficial to the people, but your evidence, you say, the source says that people are happy. Happy at what? Happy at who, right? So this is the vague evidence, right? Please be clear. The source says that British policies made people happy, right? I'm talking about the rule because I'm talking about what they created in that they created these policies. So be very clear in your evidence, must encompass the main characters and your inference as well. Okay, number 7, explanation is repeating the message or inference and does not link well. Example, if your inference is the source tells me the British rule failed, right? Because many people took their streets to show their unhappiness, and you just simply conclude by saying this means that the British rule failed. Again, this is a vague explanation. You will not get marks for it. Or you say this means that many people showed their unhappiness. You're repeating the evidence, so again, no marks for you. 2 to 3 lines link how people on the street showing their unhappiness means that they failed, right? How the fact that they are on the streets, right, actually means that they probably their needs are not being met, right? So they went out to protest, to seek out better for their lives by protesting on the street. So as such, this tells me that the British rule has failed. So I repeat again, right? Many people took the streets to show their unhappiness. What exactly does this mean? It means that probably the reason why they took to the streets is because the British have not been meeting their needs, causing them to seek out better lives. How? By protesting. And so through this protest, I can see that British rule actually have failed the local people. If not, they would not have protested. Alright, so this is inference 101. Make sure you do it properly. Alright.